Hey race fans, it's race day, top 5 with me, Frank 5. And yes, it is me. I know this is a different haircut style, but it's still me. I'm not an imposter or anything. Memorial Day weekend, a time of remembrance of the men and women who have died protecting our country and giving us our freedom. And also a weekend to enjoy Sunday, one of the best days for racing on a weekend where we remember those who have died for our nation. Monaco Grand Prix, the streets of Monaco, the greatest spectacle in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis 500, and it all finished off a nighttime special, the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, where the Candyman put everybody to sleep. Number 1, Kyle Busch, Mr. Candyman, or Rowdy as they called him, finally broke through to get his first win at Charlotte ever. And not just the Coke 600, but also in the Bank of America 500, the fall race. He finally was able to win at Charlotte Motor Speedway last night, capturing the Coca-Cola 600, giving him his 4th win of the season. And he didn't just win this race. He dominated this race. I mean, he was literally the best car all night long because he won the pole. He won all 3 stages because this race is divvied up into 4 stages because, you know, how long it is. Each stage, 100 laps. You know, 100 times 4 is 400. And he just literally put everybody to sleep. He led more than 300 laps. He didn't lead, you know, was dominant as Martin Truex Jr. was 2 years ago. I mean, sorry, you couldn't have beat Truex at that time. But, you know, he was still really dominant. I mean, nobody could really touch him even on restarts or pit stops. I mean, his crew, Adam Stevens and the M&M's crew were just lights out fast and lights out perfect all night long. I mean, you can't deny that Kyle Busch is one of the greatest of all time. But do I not like that he won? Of course, because I'm not a Kyle Busch guy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there right now that are sick and tired of him winning. And you're not the only one, folks. I'm with you. I'm sick and tired of Kyle Busch winning. We need more people to win. But, I mean, you know what I like about Kyle Busch is that he's a loving father. And last night, his son Braxton got to come to victory line and say, "Papa, we won." That was a cute moment. I will admit, even though I don't like Kyle Busch the driver, he is a good father figure. You got to admit that. But he pretty much put the whole field to sleep, beating Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, and Denny Hamlin. Number 2, Kevin Harvick. You would expect the guy who just won $1 million a week ago to back it up by winning the Coca-Cola 600. Well, it was not a good weekend for Kevin Harvick. He didn't get through qualifying at all on Thursday night because he failed inspection 3 times. And according to the rules, if you fail inspection, you start at the back and your car chief is ejected. Not your crew chief, your car chief. You know, the guy who typically works on the car, you know, diagnosing anything, you know, further, you know, make sure everything's right before race time. But off the green flag, Harvick was heading to the front. I knew he could challenge Kyle Busch. But towards the end of stage 1, he blew a right front tire and hit the wall in turn 4, and he finished dead last. That's the first time Kevin Harvick has finished dead last in a Coca-Cola 600 period. I mean, that's kind of a shocker. So, you want to say condolences to Kevin Harvick fans, you know, dominating last night, but you know what, you have been dominating a while. So, I mean, I like Harvick, but you know what, we need a break from seeing Kevin Harvick winning, even though we also need a break from Kyle Busch winning. But, you know, he'll rebound at Pocono. I know he will. Number 3, Martin Truex Jr., who won this race 2 years ago by dominating all but 8 laps of that race and winning the thing, had to battle through a lot of adversity. He had like a couple penalties on pit road where men were over the wall too soon, and then he got caught for speeding, and he still worked his way back to finish 2nd place. I mean, their mile and a half program is not where they were like the past 2 years, but I still think, you know, when we get further down the road, they'll be able to compete with Harvick and Kyle Busch. And, you know, I'm sure, you know, fans would probably say, oh, we prefer Martin Truex Jr. to win more right now than Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. And, you know, I wholeheartedly agree. It sucks, you know, that Truex has just 1 win this year, but he's going to get more. I can guarantee you that. Number 4, Jimmy Johnson, his 2nd top 5 of the season. Can you believe that? 2nd top 5 the way this year has gone. But you know what? He didn't just, like, do this on strategy. He was up front all night long, and that's big for the 48 team and big morale for him and the crew. Even though he kept saying on the radio, "Chat, this car sucks. I'm giving it all I got." He still put off a 4th place finish. I mean, I know he didn't lead a lap, but still, Jimmy Johnson, 4th place finish, that's good to get his momentum going in the right direction. Besides, hopefully when the summer comes, he's going to be strong, and he could be a championship to have to compete with guys like Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex Jr. So, 48 fans, continue to keep your fingers crossed, and still keep your fingers crossed because there's, you know, about to be a closure possibly on the sponsorship deal for next year, knowing that Lowe's is not coming back. And number 5, the Chevrolets. Other than Jimmy Johnson, we saw a lot of them up front. Kyle Larson, that's not a surprise. Jamie McMurray, who's had a crappy year. And even my guy, Ed Bubba Wallace. We were like, Bowman. William Byron even before he hit the wall. And even sometimes I saw Ryan Newman and Austin Dillon. They were up in the top 10 majority night. Chevys finished 5 out of the top 10 finishers. That's a great run for the Chevrolets because we've sucked since the start of the year with the exception of restrictor plates because it's restrictor plate and anybody can win there. We've been struggling with downforce. But I think we found a big improvement last night, but we still need more, obviously, to win races, but we're heading in the right direction, hopefully, and hopefully carries on into Pocono. Finally, Chase Elliott, 11th place finish, not indicative of a night. I mean, we didn't qualify well, but we drove up, past some guys, and, we were in the top 5, top 10 for part of the night. I felt like we could have finished there, but unfortunately, just car went away at the end. I mean, not really happy, but it's better than finishing back in 16th or 17th. It's better than being back there where, some of the other Hendrick guys have been for the majority of the year, but we got to continue to make strides. Hopefully it'll happen next week at Pocono. We continue our momentum going into Michigan, which I'm excited about because Chase is just phenomenal there. And I'd also like to say a happy Memorial Day, obviously, to all the men and women out there that are fighting for our country still. And I salute all those who have fallen for our country and, given us the freedom that we have today. And I also would like to recap Daniel Ricciardo won the Monaco Grand Prix. Mr. Shuey, I like him. My boy Lewis Hamilton finished 3rd in the race. Really couldn't compete with him or Sebastian Vettel. The Indianapolis 500 was the worst Indy 500 ever. You couldn't pass with these AeroKit cars they introduced this year. I don't know if you're a NASCAR fan and you watched IndyCar, you saw the race yesterday, you'd probably say that was boring, even if you're a Will Power fan who won the race. And I'm not a Will Power guy, period. My guy's Joseph Newgarden. He had a good run. Elio Castroneves' bid for 4 ended when he spun around because these cars just really had a handful off the corners and understeer just really bit him. And Danica Patrick in her last IndyCar race, in her last race ever, was running well until understeer got her and she hit the wall, and I hated it for her. But Danica, thank you for everything you've done in NASCAR and IndyCar. You've been a huge inspiration to sport, and that girls can be athletes in racing, and they can do it. They always will, and I got a feeling we're going to have more future superstars that are women down the road and kicking butt with the guys. So up next is Long Pond, Pennsylvania, Pocono, the Tricky Triangle, 3 corners. People say there's 4, but it's really 3. There's turn 1, the tunnel turn, which is turn 2, and that turn 3, and there's a sign off turn 3 saying what turn 4. Ryan Blaney won last year's race. Can he repeat? Can the Chevys step it up and get a victory? Or will Harvick rebound from finishing dead last from this past Sunday's race to getting back in victory circle and getting momentum back? Only time will tell. So don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like. Happy Memorial Day. Congrats to Candyman Kyle Busch. And enjoy your week. And summer's officially begun for all those out there. It's time to party.